Is Tekken a hard or easy game to learn? This is the #1 question I've been getting asked while streaming Tekken, so I made a shitpost about it on Twitter that went semi-viral, where I mashed one button to win a ranked match, suggesting that this game is easy to learn. I bet, is this actually gonna work if I just mash 2 the whole round? I'm just gonna read chat. Like, I'm literally not gonna... There's no way this is working, bro. And it got me thinking, you know, for the guy on the other side, this game is probably feeling pretty damn hard to learn after that match. So, is it easy or hard to learn Tekken? I'll give my thoughts later, but let's talk about the facts first. People have been considering this game easy to pick up for a few reasons. There's just more resources than ever. Literally just a quick Google search for a Tekken 8 guide and you'll find so many helpful videos that you might just not know where to start. But also, the in-game resources are the best they have ever been. First in-game resource is Arcade Quest. It basically gives you a tutorial that will show you what you need to know. So for example, this first match teaches you how to use Heat Smash and some of the recommended moves with Heat Smash. But where I think Tekken 8 excels is I think the training mode is a cut above the rest. So take for example, we have punishment training. So if you're having difficulty with a particular character, you can see how to punish certain moves. You can learn about how to punish what another character can do. But on top of that, you have your move list, which of course the move list in Tekken looks really daunting, but they simplify things into a very effective game plan in under 20 moves. And realistically, you can win using just the things that are in the main techniques, especially when you're just starting out. You have a basic combo, you have different ways to get into heat, and you have different moves that are effective and explains how to use the moves in different situations. So for example, if your opponent is stand blocking a lot, this is a way to open them up with a low. But the main thing that I think separates Tekken 8 above the rest in terms of resources is the replay takeover feature. So for example, this is on my first day of playing. This is a Dragunov I lost to. And I can see some of the ways that I lost to Dragunov, and I can learn them. I can, you know, make adaptations for the next time that I play someone. And the cool thing is, you know, normally watching replays, you kind of have to guess sometimes as what the things are you can improve on. But here, it'll actually show you. So for example, this move, I could have crouched. All right, here's another example of something I did not punish. This is Dragunov down 2. It's basically his best low. Let's see what I went for in the match. I tried to punish, but that move was too slow. So it shows me what I can actually punish with, which is my up forward 1-1. So let's try that. So again, I can enable controls. That was not the right move. And I can punish it properly. And so next time I run into something like this, I'll know to punish. Very, very useful. The best I've ever seen across any other fighting game. You can also take over someone else's replay, at them on Twitter, and show them what you could have done against your character. Kind of bad-mannered, but I love it. And I think it's a great way for the community to improve together. You know, especially if you have a friend, you can show them what your friend could have done. The other thing is, the best time to learn a new fighting game is when the game is new. There's tons of other new players also picking up the game at the same time, and a lot has changed since the previous version, so even someone that has a bunch of experience is also learning some of the new mechanics like heat alongside. This also means you're more likely to find training partners or people of your same skill level. One of the best ways to improve in fighting games is to have someone that you regularly practice with. That way you can kind of push each other further. A game that's really popular right now, such as Tekken 8, it's going to be a lot easier to find someone, right? Whether it's through a Discord or a real life friend or someone you meet in a tournament, you're more likely to find someone that you can consistently play against. And speaking of new mechanics, right, the heat mechanic, you know, I've seen some veterans complain about heat, saying it's too strong, and I think certain things like that are really good for beginners because, again, you can activate Heat Smash with literally just one button. And it's kind of like a get off me tool. It kind of starts like a guessing game. It doesn't matter how good you are, you're still going to have to respect. So for example, they made just general backdashes a lot quicker. So before, you know, you had the Korean Backdash, and now you can sort of get away. It's a lot faster than Tekken 7. So it helps ease new people in until they get more advanced and they have to learn the Korean Backdash because it's, you know, just that much quicker, right? The other thing is they made some other characters easier, right? So for example, I played Law in Tekken 7 and he had this stance called DSS, and it was a really technical input, and oftentimes I missed it and then I'd lose the game. And now all you have to do is hold forward to get into the stance, and certain things like that are a lot easier to lower the execution barrier to help new players get into the game. But let's talk about the other side of the coin. Some people think this game is hard to learn because honestly, there's tons of legacy knowledge. If you go through the move list, Each character has about 100 moves, if not more, right? Victor has 105 in his move list. Some characters have much more. That's a lot of moves to memorize, right? And thankfully for people that have played Tekken 7 or older games, a lot of the moves and a lot of the move properties carry over from one game to another. So because you've played the previous games, you kind of have a leg up against everyone else. And because if someone's coming in new to Tekken 8, you have a lot of catching up to do. A lot of people consider that to be hard. But it's not just that. Just like we talked about Korean Backdash, I've been practicing this for quite a bit, and I still don't have the cleanest Korean backdashes, right? There's game system, right? Like knowing what to do when you're slightly minus, knowing when to sidestep, like learning how to hit confirm certain moves on block and hit, knowing when to backdash out of pressure, knowing when to duck versus knowing when to stand. There's so much legacy knowledge in this game that carries over from other Tekkens, but not from any other fighting game. So if you play against people that have been this series for years and you're brand new, chances are you're gonna lose a lot. So one thing I like to do is when I pick up a legacy game that I haven't played before, such as Tekken 8, that I barely have any experience in, I like to pick a new character, like someone new to the series, because I can kind of get away with some stuff. For example, it's a lot easier to play Victor against someone that's a brand new character to the series than play someone like Wa, you know, someone that is a old school Tekken player, might have 10 years of experience fighting that character, right? So I like playing these new characters, but there's only a few new characters, right? Let's say some of these new characters, they have very similar tools to characters in the past. So Victor has been compared to Noctis from Tekken 7. Reina, for example, is very similar to Heihachi. And obviously they have differences, and there's still a lot to learn, still new gimmicks, still new things that you have to learn about each character. But at the same time, an experienced Tekken player can see a move like this, which is, you know, 442, one of Reina's strongest tools, goes into stance, and you have a lot of different mix-ups from it. It's very similar to a move that Lydia has, where she can basically do the same thing. She can check you mid and then go into a stance mix-up. If you know how to fight against a move like that, you can kind of transfer some of that knowledge to Reina in Tekken 8. And one of the things I define as hard, I think one of the best ways to learn a character is to look at someone that's really strong and to copy what they're doing. Now, this is really easy in games that have very little execution. It's more about strategy, it's more about tech development, it's more about game knowledge. Therefore, you can just kind of copy like the combos and strategy they do. So, in like harder games, for example, let's say trying to learn Asuka in Guilty Gear Strive, where the character has 26 different spells and you have to know what spell combination is the right one, and you have to think very fast on your feet. It doesn't matter if you watch the highest level players, because it really comes down to your ability to recognize what spells you have and the execution behind that, and very high situational awareness that you're only going to develop through actually playing matches. And it's kind of the same in Tekken, right? So there's a lot of things that you might know what to do. So for example, like I might know I need to tech this grab with a 1 and 2 break, but because I don't have years of experience teching these kind of grabs, it puts me at a disadvantage over legacy players. And same thing, right? If I'm trying to learn Reina and I look at the #1 Reina and is just doing electric into electric and electric, and I personally can't execute that, it's going to be a lot harder to learn from their replays. So I think the last thing is fundamentals from other games just don't carry over as well. So just because there's so much knowledge, matchups, and execution that you need to know to play at a high level of Tekken before your fundamentals can really kick in. And if you don't believe me, check out one of the top players in Tekken, Speed Kicks, talking about the same exact thing.
The #1 thing I would ever recommend anyone picking up Tekken is don't worry about how good you are, okay? Because it's not like going from an anime fighter to Street Fighter. It's not like going from Street Fighter to an anime fighter. It's gonna feel like something entirely different. This game feels different when you first put your hands on it. So don't expect to be good. Don't worry about how good you are. Enjoy the game. Enjoy being a noob. It only happens once.
So you might be wondering, what are my thoughts? My first thought is that most fighting games are like chess. It's really easy to teach the rules to someone in a couple hours, but it takes a lifetime to master. So I Googled the results for chess, and they're about what you would expect if you've made it this far in the video. So I think the difficulty of this game is in the eye of the beholder. If your goal is to have fun and beat up on beginners online, then the barrier for entry for that is super low. Just learn the basics, learn a combo, learn your key moves, go through the tutorial. Takes a couple hours and you're set. Here you just pick Victor and match 2 apparently. But if you set your expectations for catching up to people that have been playing Tekken series for years in a short amount of time, you might find that really hard to do. My recommendation is just to enjoy the game for what it is. It's a game that is more accessible than ever compared to previous Tekken versions, but it still takes a lifetime to master. Go into the game with an open mind and no expectations. Enjoy the game. And after a while, you might find yourself a bit better than you expect. Anyways, like, share, subscribe. Take care, y'all, and peace.